Well, Hakeem, I guess talk about just kind of getting here and what it's been like. Cause you had a fight lined up earlier in the year and you had to withdraw from that. So what's kind of the journey been like to get here?
Yeah, I was matched up with Shane Burgos earlier. I think that was in January. Unfortunately, I tore my right shoulder. I was trying to train through it because, you know, that's obviously the first fight I've ever pulled out in my life. And it was a difficult decision and it hurt my pride a little bit, but I didn't want to have my first top 10 fight with a shoulder that wasn't working. So I had to pull out. I asked my manager if we could reschedule it, but he wanted to stay on schedule, and I can't blame him for that. He obviously was peaking, and he wanted to take a fight. So yeah, this is kind of the matchup where I'm at now.
Nice. Who talked you into it to say, hey man, let's not go into this?
Just, you know, my coaches and my training partners, you know what I mean? I was training for a bit there, just one hand, you know what I mean, trying to get through it, hoping I could just, you know, kind of tough it out, and yeah, it didn't really end up working out like that.
Did you end up need surgery for it, or were you able to rehab it back?
Rehabbing it back, and after this fight, I'm going down to the UFC PI. They're going to do some stem cells on me to make sure that this never happens again.
Cool. Like I said, Shane, a very recognizable name. Movsar, maybe not quite as recognizable, right? But I mean, a very dangerous opponent. So what did you think when they gave you this matchup?
I thought it was very similar to my last opponent. You know, wrestler. I consider him a bit less dangerous than my last opponent. Zubara, in the videos, he seemed to have a little bit of knockout powers. You know, rock a few people. I think I gave him a bit too much respect. I didn't feel too much power, but I feel like this guy has less knockout power than Zubara, and he's going to be less strong, a little bit smaller. But where his strengths is he's got good cardio and he's busy.
So do you feel like you're comparing him to Zubara? Obviously, that did go your way. I mean, you approach the matchup in similar fashion. Or do you feel like there's things that you can do differently?
You know, similar as in, you know, they're both wrestling kind of based. But I made sure I was in terrific shape this fight camp just because I know this guy tries to outpace his opponent. So I just made sure that I'm in phenomenal shape and he's not going to outpace me. And I'm planning on hurting this kid.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, you've kind of had this prospect tag for a while. You know, do you feel like, you know, you beat a guy with the kind of record that he has, like you're a contender at that point?
I think after this fight, no doubt, once I win this fight, I'm top 10 status. You can't deny me. I think you got to put me in a contender. You got to put me in the video game, and yeah, that's how I see this playing out.
Movsar was in here earlier, and I was asking him to like break down your skill sets inside the octagon. He's very complimentary, but he even said like, I even think I'm a better striker than Hakeem. So if you're watching his tape at all, what do you think of his
He said he's a better striker?
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, everybody's confident, but he's not a better striker. He has no power, and you know, I'm glad he thinks that. So hopefully he comes into this fight and he wants to strike with me.
And then you mentioned your fight against Zubara, who that was kind of a technical like fight. You said you wanted to finish, but you didn't end up getting it. Burgos obviously is one of those high action fighters. You saw his last fight. A lot of people say one of the better fights of the year. Your new opponent now doesn't even have a stoppage win in his UFC career yet. So is it frustrating at all that you missed out on the Burgos high action fight and you have now back-to-back fighters that aren't known for their stopping power?
Yeah, you know, it's frustrating that I missed out on my opportunity, but I think everything happens for a reason. I think after I put this guy away, it'll be nice to finally be matched up with a striker and someone that's going to complement my style and you know, give the fans what they want.
And then before your last fight at Media Day, heading into that fight, here in this part of the world was kind of the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, and you had said that after that fight you kind of wanted to travel around and kind of speak in schools and stuff about what's going on in this world. Were you able to do that, and are you still continuing to do that?
Yeah, so even before the protests were happening, I was already going around speaking in schools, and then the COVID happened, so you know that kind of changed. But my city just opened up, I think. I think today on the 5th or whatever, it opened up on the 5th, or tomorrow? So yeah, the city opens up tomorrow, so hopefully we can get back on schedule and, you know, me going to school and just doing my best to help the community.
Oh yeah, hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
How big a deal is it to put on a show on Saturday night? Because it seems like, of course, you want your hand raised, but you're hell bent on, I got to put on a show so people know who the hell I am.
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, winning is the most important thing, but you want to win in style. You want people to be like, yo, that kid was really fresh. And yeah, you want to put a statement and get yourself as a contender. I don't want to be known as this guy just getting these decisions. So yeah, winning is the most important thing, but I'm definitely looking for a stoppage.
Does it bother you the fact that you got the impressive record that you got, but people, as far as in the fans, like don't give you the pops that you probably deserve that go with that record? And like this dude's undefeated, and people like, well, we don't know about this. This guy hasn't lost a fight, and it's like you got more experience than him as far as in the octagon here.
Yeah, I got more experience in the octagon. People don't know this guy's only got 4 fights at featherweight. You know what I mean? So I got more experience not only in the octagon but at this weight class. He's still experienced with this weight class. He's still coming up. So you know, the average fan, yeah, of course they're gonna just look at that record, but I think all the real people know what's up.
Does it bother you the fact that he's very dismissive? Kind of like not very dismissive, but basically like he's a good fighter, but he's not on my level at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know, but we've all heard that before. You know what I mean? I've heard that almost every single fight in the UFC. So no matter what he says, it don't really bother me. And if he's really thinking that, it's going to be a really great decision for him.
And Jose alluded to what you putting the Black Lives Matter and the focus and everything. How much do you think that goes overlooked in this sport that's called MMA? That people, regardless if it's religion or it's something like Black Lives Matter, people don't really talk about that. You know, y'all have those platforms, and it's kind of some way it became y'all responsibility. Does that bother you, the fact that you kind of like pushed out there and then nobody kind of like on a limb by yourself? Because people don't do that when, even though that's the platform that you got to do, and you should be able to feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, you know, I think certain people feel a little bit uncomfortable about it, but it's one of those things that I feel like, you know, if you haven't ever experienced it, you know, it's definitely something that you can overlook, and something that, you know, some people might even hate on a little bit because they just don't understand the frustration what me and my people have been going through. So I think it's definitely just one of those things that if you've never experienced it, they don't really understand the frustration and how urgent it is to we want just for equality and just to live.
And I have a co-host that he's over in Canada like you, and he's been locked in. How's it feel good that Trudeau kind of finally gonna let y'all out tomorrow, that y'all can be able to go back and forth without all the craziness that is COVID?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to, when I get back home, everything is going to be open, get back to just normal society, normal training, and normal socializing, and just living life and putting this crazy past 2 years behind us.
And final question for me, had nothing to do with your fight. What you think about the craziness that was the Mayweather and Paul fight this weekend? I know you like to watch different stuff, or you just so locked in that you had no time to watch that fight.
No, I bought the fight. I was a little bit upset that I bought the fight. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I wish I didn't buy that fight, but you know, at least I saw it, and I'm gonna put that behind me and never think about it.